Cavecast, the uncensored show for nerds of all kinds.
What if you went live on Cavecast and just did more of like the shorts algorithm? And I mean,
it could be.
I mean, I know it would be kind of the same concept, but I'm just saying, like, you know, have some ambient music in the background and just sit and chit chat. But I mean, I guess that's what I do for coffee time. But
well, yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know, like there's a part of me that has toyed around with going live on Cavecast just because it's like I have done it before and it's been awesome. You know, like people like have interacted and like they've given really good ideas or different things like that. Like it is cool to connect with the audience in that way. Mm. It's more so that I'm trying to decide on if I would rather, if I'm going to go live on one of my own things, if it's going to be the Campfire or if it's going to be the Cavecast.
Right. But so, are you going to start going, are you going to start doing more vertical because of the accident that I figured out?
yeah. I mean, honestly, I mean, any way that you can milk the algorithm and try to at least have a fighting chance on, you know, on YouTube is, you know, I mean, that's always a given. But I think that it's kind of like what is going to bring in the best, you know, community where it's like, no, like we do like it whenever you go live, you know, horizontal on these certain days or whatever, because it has this kind of view. Like I'm actually really digging the look I have downstairs with like the lighting and stuff I've been able to set up, much like how you have the LEDs. That was so cool when I went to the office and like he put LEDs all around like I have downstairs on my desk. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like a proud dad. So, but no, I'm really digging how it looks and how it feels down there. So I think that it would be, you know, ignorant to not utilize that in some way. Probably more for recording, like more for like doing like Kyle Speaks or like that's something I've been thinking about doing is like sitting in front of a camera and just like, you know, spewing off about stuff like, you know, can Christians listen to Sleep Token or like, you know, random things like that or like telling stories, things, you know, to that effect. But no, I don't know. Like I'm in a very strange place with YouTube, just in the fact of that, you know, kind of like, man, like we're still trying to figure out what works. We're trying to, you know, like, cause it's almost like when something works for a while and then it doesn't work. And then you have to like, what does the algorithm now want? Yeah. You know, and it's, I've had my exhausting moments and, you know, again, like there were periods of my life that I was more run down than I am now. You know, so it's kind of like, well, I mean, the exhaustion isn't as bad, but it doesn't mean that I like not knowing what to do, you know, so it's like, it's that type of thing. So I don't know, like, because I know that the title of this is like, you know, will we react, you know, forever or like our reactions, you know, finite. I don't know like what we're going to call it, but like, that's something that if we're going to be on YouTube for 20 years, that's something that we need to think about or like, you know, not make a decision now, but kind of like think about the future and be like, man, like, is rykerroad going to always be a reaction channel, you know, and it's that's kind of just like where my mind's been at. And, you know, ultimately, like you've talked about, you know, passing the torch and, you know, like trying to light these other fires, like this show or like, or even the detour specifically, I think is one of the most important things that we can definitely do. So it is one of them. And I'm going to answer you. No, like no? It's in front of your water. Oh, thank you.
He was looking for his vape. Yeah. But as far as like, you know, rykerroad being the reaction channel forever or in 20 years, like, no. I mean, guys, I've said it before and people are always like, oh, why would you say that? And like, because again, like I said, I'm realistic and if it goes longer, then great. But, you know, I've stated, you know, probably in the next 5 years, it probably is either A, not going to be a thing or really slowed down because I know the two rockin' grannies are out there and we got all these other people, but it's like nobody wants to see a 50-year-old rap dude sitting. I know everybody's like, I disagree, but I
live in that camp. So
yeah. But what I mean is it goes both ways for me in the fact of that in general and just the fact of no, man, like I really hope that we aren't doing as much reaction, music reactions, because we are doing these other things. You know, the biggest thing that people ask all the time is, you know, what my personal biggest goal is, you know, for these other channels, you know, for the Detour and for rykerroad. And I've always stated the fact of it's to get you full time, to be able to, like you said, pass that torch, whether it is, you know, maybe the podcast that takes off quicker or something, but it's the fact of it bringing all of these people over to, again, not not be done with reactions, but it's the fact of we can do so much more than just sit in the studio.
See, that's,
You know, so that's, I guess, kind of where I'm at with it in my mind, where it's like, nobody wants to see that forever, man. Do something.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the mentality of like, I mean, I'm not shitting on my day job whatsoever, but it's the idea of that. It's like my goal from being young and, having a flip camera and, making stuff with Sammy or with Luke or with Andy or like with, Dan or like whatever, like, it's like my goal is I want to make movies.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I want to write scripts. I want to, work in visual effects. I want to, be like, no, this is the crazy fucked up idea I have, and I'm going to actualize it and hire who I need to hire, do what I need to do, like all that stuff. And it's kind of like that idea of like, I wanted to be a filmmaker and make Hollywood movies. I now work in marketing. And, but again, like that's not a bad thing, because I literally do what I love every day.
Right.
So, but it's that idea of that, like, I still feel like there's this unattained goal that I still have not been able to grasp yet. Because I'm just like, dude, like I want to finish the middle. I want to be able to, make great scary stories. And even if it's like all I do is make scary stories, like, dude, that's enough. I love doing that. Like, it's like being able to take it to a new level of like, no, like maybe these turn into like, horror shorts instead, where it's like they're short films or something, where it's like,
would you be okay with that?
I think that if I could evolve it into that it actually is like filmmaking instead of just, like doing voiceovers or voice work and things like that. But there is a part of me that I would like to say yes. I think that I would be very satisfied.
So if you took, let's even just say, I don't know, 10, 15 of whatever, whether it's all the same story or you Black Mirrored it and you had a bunch of different ones, but like, you would be okay with the fact of just making these like stories into like your like little short, mini series or whatever, and never making a movie.
I think
maybe.
I think that it's a tough question, because I think that like right now, like what I want to do with filmmaking is so unattainable, because it's that like
now.
Well, right. But it's kind of when I think about like the scenes that I would want to shoot for the middle, is that it's like, no, there are just like some conversation scenes that I know for a fact I could film practically, where it's like, there's like, we're not showing hell. We're not showing these superpowers. We're not showing like whatever that's like, kind of like out there that I don't even know VFX wise how I would even pull it off yet. So like, I think that there are some things where I kind of like have it like compartmentalized right now, where it's like, no, like this is definitely something I want. But it's like, I work in practicality. So it's kind of like when I look with what I have right now, and then I think as it grows, I think that my opinion may change. But it's just like right now, like all I can do really creatively with the time and the ability of what I have is to work on my own and to be able to make my own content, to do stuff like that.
Well,
but, yeah,
you said, it's unattainable right now. And I'm not trying to be funny or like flex dick right now, but like, so did we think that silver play button in the rykerroad. So did over 100,000 subscribers. We're pushing 250 now. Like, who would ever fucking thought that?
Yeah.
Like, not me.
No.
Like I thought, like, oh, maybe one day, like we'll get one of those, it'd take us a while. But, so same thing where it's like, it seems like that right now. But I think that with the way YouTube is working for the both of us, and like, your channels and then like plural, and then my channels plural, but like how we all kind of come together on everything. But it kind of, I don't know, it gives you different styles of like, I guess being a director, but like direction in a sense, because that's why I was saying like the whole rykerroad forever. No, probably not, or not the same, because like move out of that studio, man, go do something, because that's what I'm saying. Like, people don't want to watch the same thing forever. No. So I think that gives you, making a movie is going to be fucking different every day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like on location, or how you have to get around things or whatever. But I think that YouTube has definitely taken your capability of what you figured out and what you're going to continue to figure out to be able to do the things in a movie that you need to. Sure, you might be 32 years old now, but wasn't Steven Spielberg like fucking like 40 or some shit by the time he wrote his first good movie or something? I don't fucking know.
Well, it's like what was it, like Oprah, like, declared bankruptcy at 30, or like it's like those kinds of stories, or
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I think that, YouTube in general helps a lot of people like you in the fact of like, not only do you do this for work, but it still does teach you things that you don't learn at work or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, like, I don't know. I don't think that you just doing those little stories like that into a show is satisfying enough for you for the fact of like what you really want to do.
Well, there's also this, I have not been able to have a healthy consistency on the campfire. And like for one reason or another, because it was kind of like
same with the detour, man. And I don't get it because it's the same shit we were already doing.
Right. Well, it's one of those where like I know like with my capability of like what I can do. And it's kind of like, okay, like, like I'm giving probably like 30% of my entire total effort into the detour of like what I can do. And like, whether it's finding old, like even if it's just finding content that I've already done. It's the idea of that, look, this can still run while I'm figuring out how to balance these things and go, okay, it's time now to nut up or shut up. Can I do both?
Yeah.
So it's because there's pros and cons to that where it's like, cool, I don't even have to think about like maybe 12 uploads. And that's, so and it's not like Riker Road where it's like where we upload every single day, so right. It's kind of a different animal, but
buffer,
but no, it's just with the whole like, shorts and everything and it being satisfying is that I think that I have not reached the mundane part of scary stories because it is an adventure every time. And it's like, it's, finding the correct AI art for like the stuff to work because I don't have the ability to hire people to photograph or to then film different clips or whatever to do that stuff. Like, I mean, AI is going to do what it's going to do regardless, but it's kind of like for me right now, like it is very much a tool. Like Night Cafe has been a lifesaver and it's made some pretty wicked looking shit, and it's like even doing the one I just got done with, like, it's not posted yet, but the whole bird watching in hell. That's I think it's probably either going to be the first or like second scary story, depending on when I stack them all up. But what I fed into this thing and just was like, okay, like one of the species of this, of these flying things is called, the guy calls it a vulture, but he's like, it's not a vulture, but he's like, it's the closest thing that on an eternal plane I can even compare it to.
Yeah.
And taking story prompts and being like, okay, let me put this into AI and like,
see what it does.
Like I'll make sure that it gives me, 15 different examples. I'll use this type of an engine to build it up. And what's really freaky is when you use the photo engine because it makes it look like it's an actual photograph that was taken of a real thing. And it's fucking wicked. Like it's again, like it's one of those that weird. Like I'm worried about, like my whole thing is like the Skynet thing where like I'm going to be the one that creates something horrifying and then it's going to become sentient, but no, it's just, it's really fun right now. Like it's just kind of like, man, like, can I do this? Like, can I visually scare people enough that they don't even want to watch the video? It's kind of like when you click on a creepypasta and it's Jeff the Killer and his face is on it and it's terrifying. I can't look at that picture if I'm here by myself at night. Like I can't do it. And I've watched it, before, and I've scrolled down and in the comments where it's like, who's all hiding in the comments? It's like I'll listen to it. Yeah. Like that's kind of a goal I have, is that I want people to be afraid to watch my videos. Because it's not even the fact of that they don't enjoy it, but it's the fact of that I cannot get away from this. Right. So like that's kind of like, I'm waiting for that spark to happen. And, obviously, with it, I mean, functionally, it's a YouTube channel. So it's the idea of that, what's going to get views, what's going to get interaction, what's going to make people want to subscribe. It's like, you
tell me. Yeah, right.
Right. And it's because it's that, you know this, but I've had people that I've worked with, whether it is, in corporate or if it's been in my personal life or if it's been for work of like working with clients and stuff, where somebody looked at me and said, we need to make some viral content. Get on that. And I looked at them and I'm like, cool, what do we do? And they're like, well, I figured you could just take care of that.
Sure.
And it's like, do you understand that if I knew how to make consistent viral content, I would not be working here.
I wouldn't be standing here.
I would not be out in a field at 2 a.m. filming something and struggling or whatever. Like it's like that type of thing. Like it's just, that's the hard part. And I think that a lot of like people have this misconception of what we do that we hit triples every single time. And it's, dude, it could not be further from the fucking truth. Like, it is like we are fighting every single day to make it happen, and we're still making it happen.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not working. It just could be a lot better.
Right.
And I think that's what's kind of like what kind of like sparked my mind with all this is that it's like, no, like, you know, what is it? What will Eric and Kyle's identity be online? Because we have a presence. People know who we are. You know, I would not consider us celebrities, but I would look at it that it's like, no, like we've made a name. You know, it's like
we put a blip.
Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, and it's because it's funny because even like whenever I've the people that I've met in public or whatever, the couple of times that recognize me or like know who I am. I actually got a message from somebody the other day I need to tell you about afterwards. It was
Jesus Christ.
Cool. But it was somebody at a wasn't in town, but it was like I was out doing something and it was that moment of, you kind of talked about it where like you don't know if they're following you.
Yeah.
You know, and you're kind of like, okay, cool. Like you may make eye contact, kind of that, you know, hey, what's up? You know, like you're doing your thing. And I'll just tell you now. I got a message from this girl and she was like, oh my God, I saw you at the store. I knew it was you. I was afraid to talk to you or whatever. She's
Why
like,
are people so afraid?
But it was the idea of that. She's like, my boyfriend is such a big fan.
No shit.
And she's like, I like just in a, basically what I had said was I like, cause I don't interact much like in Messenger much anymore. Like I kind of like keep it short and stuff. That's just my personal preference and stuff with people I don't know. But I just basically said, like, I kind of did the whole Gabriel Iglesias thing where it was like, look, you know, and this goes out to anybody that if you ever do see us in public, is that if you would like to say hi, or if you would, you know, if you, I don't know, want an autograph, that's weird to me, but like, it's like, or whatever, but it's like, we welcome it. Yeah. You know, it's that like, you guys are the reason why we get to be able to do what we do. You know, and I mean, like that stuff is becoming like a reality.
What store are you at?
I don't want to say just in case. So,
was it something like
because of location?
Oh,
just
okay.
Like
I thought
that.
you were going to be like Walmart or something.
It was not Walmart.
That's why I was asking. Like, okay.
But no, like it's just, I mean, clearly, like, yeah, we have made a blip. But the funny thing is that even at one of the other local places that I got recognized was that the manager who I've seen a lot, she's like, you left and they just were like, oh my God, that guy's fucking famous, you know, or whatever. and I came in the one day and I came in the one day and I was talking to some of them and I was just like, guys, like, you have to understand that when I tell people that I do YouTube with Eric, I'm like, I have to explain to them what a reaction channel is. Yeah. I have to explain to them the way that we do it. I have to explain the stuff that we react to and then tell them the subscriber count. And then it's like, oh my God, I didn't know that was even a thing. Like I'll look it up right now. Like, it's like, there's always a discovery with people when I tell them it. So like, it's really hard to have that mentality of thinking that we're famous because we're fucking not.
Could you imagine like, if it was like Luke standing there at the place being like, after you left and they're like, oh my God, he's been that guy, Kyle Wright? No, okay. Okay.
Well, it's like, where it's like, you know, this guy's like, head of a, really dark metal band where it's like, oh, that's, Sid and Seether. It's like, that's fucking Davey. What are you talking about? Like, it's like, I grew up with
Steve.
them. Yeah, right. So like, I don't know, like it's weird, like, because having the perspective that we do is that we have a very interesting perspective of YouTube is that like, no, like we have made noise, but it's not like we're not talking Markiplier PewDiePie level.
Fuck
like
no.
If that was the case, things would be drastically different. Like on every like aspect. Like I
wouldn't be in this shit. Not your house. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be in this shithole of fucking town that I'm in. Like hell no. We would be doing this on a tropical beach somewhere with a really good microphones. These are good microphones. We would have really good microphones.
Get some like $10,000 Sennheisers or something. Yeah. Or it's just. I mean. Yeah, it's just wild.
Yeah, but dude, that's it is funny in the fact of like, like you said, the perspective on people and, also people wanting to know like how long this is going to last or where we see RykerRoad or anything in the future is, it's weird because they don't want us to stop, right? Like, we know that.
No, and also too, I think there's also a part of me that doesn't want to stop either. It's that, because I mean, like I have other ambitions, but it's like, no, dude, I love reacting. Like it's cool.
Me too. But I think my thing is that it's not exhausting. That's not the right word. it's exhausting not being able to like finish stuff like you know, Spirit Box or something like that. You know, Whit Lowry. You know, the you know, all these other ones where we didn't finish them on the channel, and that sucks. But okay, algorithm, blah blah blah. We have to move on. We can do them on our own. We don't. We don't have the fucking time.
No, and that's
music has become not a chore.
It's a job.
It's a job.
Yeah.
And the fact that I can listen to this freely, but I rarely listen to music on my own, probably in the other than like driving in a vehicle. I'm talking like with my headphones on.
Oh, sure,
and
sure.
like, you know, doing my thing.
Yeah.
I don't really anymore. I haven't for probably the last 3 or 4 months, here and there, but it's not like it was. But that's the thing, is that I still don't go through, because then when I want to listen to something, I want to listen to the same Moneybagg Yo song that I've listened to 8 times.
Yeah, you have your 15 songs you cycle through. Yeah.
I want to listen to Granite. I want to listen to this. Like, I don't want to listen to a new Whit Lowry song that I might not fucking like, and I just wasted 7 minutes. Now I'm pissed because half my beer's gone.
See, that's honestly, like that's one of the reasons why I know I had to cope with being a reactor. And that's because it's one of those, and that makes it sound like it's a bad thing. But like, I joke about it because I've told Jake about it, you know, because he's asked about, like, you know, why we don't do certain things, or like, you know, or like, what are we doing? Or like, are we having fun? Like, whatever. And, you know, it's one of those things where, like, you know, he's asked me before, but he was like, so he's like, you're not going to listen to Low Spirit at all. And I'm like, no. I'm not. I'm like, I will listen to him whenever we have the chance, because if there's ever a day it does work, that's a man that deserves a reaction.
Right.
And it's so tough.
Same with Echo, dude.
So like, that's what makes me really angry when it's like, when people are like, dude, it's like, just do it. And it's like, guys, like, you do not understand what we do. And what we have to do on a daily basis. Like, finding that band, The Home Team, on my own, and like it just popping up and being like, nah, dude, this is mine. Like, it's like, we are never going to react to this. This is something I can enjoy. Polyphia is something that I can enjoy.
Yeah, right.
Intervals. Now they're instrumental, but it's like that's kind of weird that's where my music taste has gone. Where it's like, I break down,
to learn stuff.
Yeah, it's that, and then it's also like, I break down lyrics all the time. I kind of just want to just listen to guitars be awesome, you know. So like that,
right.
There's that. Right. But in the same hand, like, I really had to find a way to keep reacting, because it was like, dude, like, my entire music life is neutered now. And it's like being able to find certain things where, like, in a way, I think it's kind of cool, because it's like I find smaller bands, and like that's the stuff that I've been able to kind of like dive into, where it's like, well, no, not a lot of people know these guys. They just started. You know what? I love their shit. I'm just going to listen to them. Like, this will be my thing outside of work. Essentially.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but in the same hand, like, there's something really rewarding when we finish a journey. Now, granted, we've only been able to finish 2 complete journeys, which is NF and Sleep Token. And we've been doing this for a couple of years. We're now almost coming on 3, but it's just that, dude, like, there's something cool about that, where it's just like, nah, dude, like, we didn't just get to dabble our toe. We fucking cannonballed into this, and we literally have our reactions incarnated on the internet forever. And we like, there's something really weird about that, where you get to see yourself have that aha moment. That is this intangible thing that was never documented before. Yeah. And it's so like, there's cool things about it, but no, like, I've had to really find a way to survive, because music is so damn important to me. And like, especially like producing it or playing it or listening to it or feeling it, like having it be therapy. Like, it's, you could say that it's like, well, no, I got as much therapy as I needed listening to NF, because who the fuck wouldn't, you know, it's like, that's a really good way to heal emotionally. But in the same hand as that, it's like, no, like, I want to listen to other stuff. I want to enjoy what I have, you know, and that's what I've told Jake before, where I was like, yeah, I'm like, nobody tells you when you become a reactor that you can't listen to music anymore, you know? And it's just like, I had to find a way to essentially cope, and it's been good. Like, I've been able to find stuff, or like, people will send me things that they know for a fact that I will never react to. And then I get to find other people that way. Like, we find people on TikTok, like whether or not we want to, you know, react to them and try to help them or whatever. Yeah. So
I've been kind of doing the same thing on Twitch, where I'll be like, fuck it, whatever. You know, or like, because normally what I tell people now is like, request something that, you know, that we've at least done, or that I know, like fucking Ludacris song or something like that. Sure. But in the same hand, man, I don't want to say this but I am. But like, okay, guys, hear me clearly. Watch my fucking mouth, hear my sound waves that are coming out. You know, that's why I was saying, like, you know, the other day, you're going to get a little kitchen talk, but where the fact of, you know, the reaction channel and being neutered and the fact, you know, musically and all this stuff. Now, I'm not saying that this one will take off, and I don't want to neuter the other one either, but this is where I think maybe that I'm really wanting this movie reaction thing to happen on Patreon, guys. And again, I do not mean to put it behind a paywall, but it is the only way I can get something to you. Pretty much no editing and no copyrights. Like, it's like getting sections. So like that's where I'm at, guys. But a couple, like, at least for right now, I'm saying 1 to 2, but like I said, 3 would be a max. Do you understand how much time that would be to put in on top of everything else? But what I'm getting at is to get a couple of those going, and to not be the whole identity of maybe Patreon and or rykerroad. Then it's not like, no, I'm not switching to this. This is just something else that, like, maybe I'd like to do if and when or music reactions start to slow down as well. This can kind of fill a little bit of a void for you guys over here for this. I'm still, you know, keeping busy, but we're doing more things over here, you know, on the detour and the campfire or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why a part of me has seriously been thinking about that. Now, will things like that happen as far as slowing down on the reaction channel? No, it's not going to be immediately. No. But like, let's say I start doing movie reactions tomorrow on Patreon. Does not mean that within 2 months that reactions are just going to slowly go down to 3 a week.
No. And it's
so, you know what I mean?
Well, because I think that there's, like, again, like, guys, like, the main thing that is the biggest headache that we deal with is copyright.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, if there was a way.
No, blocking, actually.
Well, the blocking, because it's one of those where, like, we've already accepted that we're just not going to make money.
Yeah,
like,
we're not getting paid.
You know, that's just not how it is. Like, because it's, again, like, as we've said before, it's like what we do is that with the money we split essentially is like part-time. That's essentially what we like. It would be like having a part-time job.
Part-time job.
Yeah, it's like you go work at a grocery store or whatever, and this is your check you get for it, and you still have to work another job or whatever. To do that. So
I'm just fortunate enough with my situation and bills and who I'm with. Yes, I can do this.
Right, and it's just, to me, it's one of those that like taking everything that we've talked about is that it's like looking at even just like the movie reaction thing is that is very doable. And I think that it's, you know, again, like I'm apprehensive of it only because of the fact that like that's another part of my life I don't want to lose.
Well, right.
But in the same hand is that like I've toyed with the idea before where I'm like, no, like if there was a night that I was available, you know, if I'm not working on something else where it's kind of like, you know what, like, do you just want to just watch Liar Liar tonight and just like, you know, just geek throughout the entire thing? Like we do like a movie commentary, or we watch something like really fucking obscure, like Nosferatu, like the old silent films or like something like that, where like stuff that's like not new, because that way you have to keep up on it. We're like, oh, I can't go to the movie theater. I got to watch this. Like, you know, but I think that there's a balance with it. I think that like you can find it. And with the capability of what you have with your time, I think that that's very manageable. I think that can be done. It's right now it's all the technical shit. It's just figuring that part out, you know?
I think more. Yeah, right. Yeah. I think more so with you, I almost would argue, because this could be fun. This could be also almost the same concept of, you know, how rykerroad started with the movies is, you know, guys, like he just said, he doesn't want to like neuter his movie watching and stuff, and neither do I. But with him kind of not, I don't want to say being around for it, but like I could do a movie reaction whenever I want because it is just me, and I know I can set the camera and stuff up. But what I'm going to say is like maybe it's one of those that you don't really watch new movies with me or something, but I show you old stuff that you ain't watched before. Like, you know how like, what's their faces? Oh God, the brothers. Why am I blanking?
Oh, the Coen brothers.
No, the reaction channel.
Oh, Otto Kroll. Yeah, Coen brothers. Oh my God.
But when they would be like, you know, we're going through Forrest Gump. Like, you've never seen Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Like, I know you've never seen Varsity Blues. I know you've never seen Straight Outta Compton. And you've never seen like, it's things like that where it's like, well, maybe that could be something that would be like, it's not neutering your new movie capability. It's things like, hey man, you've talked about wanting to watch something like this, or you wanted to see this, or you've never seen this, let's sit down in front of the camera. Let's watch it and see what you think.
Yeah.
You know, that's I think a better idea for somebody like you that you want to be a part of it, but you don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm going to be the same way where it's like, I'm not going to watch every new movie on the channel, but sometimes I'll be like, you know what, fuck it. A good horror movie's coming out, or this sappy love story. Let's see what I think about it, or rom-com or something like that. I don't fucking know.
Right.
But that's what I was saying, guys, is that I'm not promising anything. This is something that I am actively trying to do. It's just the fact of, as far as taking over or immediately slowing down on, music reactions, that's not going to be a thing.
No, and it's honestly,
I just didn't want them thinking that like this is what it's going to be.
No, and it's honestly, it's one of those that like, guys, like the number one thing that is important to the both of us since the very beginning is communication. And it's the idea that if there was ever a drastic change like that was ever going to happen where we are diminishing content, or that to do more content elsewhere or anything like that, is that you guys will know ahead of time. Like you will know well ahead of time. And we've had times like, for instance, like when we used to do 3 patron songs a month, or sorry, 3 patron songs a week, and we wanted more flexibility. And it was one of those where it was like, man, like we don't want to give them just 1.
Right.
But 2 is feasible. I think that's, if we can give them, that is 8 videos a month. That's designated that the patrons can vote on. So it was the idea of that, like, I remember writing out that paragraph and being very nervous because it was the idea of that we are giving them less and we are expecting them to still pay the normal amount. Sure. And I think even the way that I worded it was, I was like, look, I'm like, if you decide that you do not want to be a patron anymore, that's okay. Well, we are not expecting like everybody to be fine with this. It's just that this is what we believe in. We believe in it very strongly. There's a method to our madness. This is why we want to do it, because we are able to be more free in our decision making of like, okay, like we can do this many of an artist in a week. If we did a full NF week the one time, because we were just so excited about what was happening and we had so many songs to go through, and but in the same hand is that it's like, no, like, our audience has stuck by us. Like, I mean, like, it's been really awesome to see, like, even like when I was down with COVID and we had like, 5 days were 5 days that were empty, but we had 2 reactions and we kind of like scattered them. Had to get back to reacting and then get that lull gone. And there was never a time that it was like, well, you just need to buck up and you need to get in that studio. It was, no, are you okay? Yeah. Like, no, take it easy, relax. Life comes first. Like, that's been the really sobering thing about being a content creator and having a non-toxic, just like fan base or an audience. Because again, we get shitty people, but those aren't the people that stick around. No, and it's like the people that have stuck by us, whether it's people that we know personally or if it's people that we know from afar or people that we only know by name, is that there has just been a general amount of support that no matter what we do, that they're kind of like, no, bring it, and that's pretty wild,
Speaking of that, and this is partially to be funny as far as what I'm going to say, but also the truth, or like asking for real. It's not doing anything as far as like number wise compared to rykerroad in a sense, but we never know. But like what are the off chances that Twitch is the one that takes off?
I've actually wondered that.
From like the coming over and like all of these things. And it's like, so now we just play video games and listen to music on there, because that's why I was going to ask you is like, what is what are your thoughts on that? And how do you think that you would, I guess, adjust to that? Like, let's say in a perfect world, Twitch in the next 6 months, Twitch starts taking off like that. I'm playing all these video games. I'm hanging out and just drinking some brews, listening to music half the time, all this shit, right? Yeah. But it's bringing in good revenue and like all this stuff. And it's like, hey, Kyle, the channel is bringing in X amount of money. Like, maybe you could quit or whatever. Like, how do you think that would like affect the way you want to like be on YouTube or like on social media?
Well, I mean, it's
like I want to say borderline, like maybe even like no more reactions.
Well, I think that there's something that is a big factor in this, is that I think that one of the reasons why I'm able to work with rykerroad so well is that it is content creating. It's the idea that, I'm able to dedicate however many hours in the week. And I know for a fact that for a full week, there is content that can be released.
Sure.
So there is a big freeing aspect of that.
Instead of a daily task.
Instead of having to make sure that I go live every day or 3 days a week or whatever, and I have to sit here for 3 hours. And sometimes it might be 5 because we're interacting with people, different things like that. Like it's not bad. It's just the idea of that, like to me, it's one of those that like I've never seen myself as a streamer. That's like, because that's just not really how I operate. It's because it's the idea of that, like, I want to make a bunch of shit and put it out there, and that way I can sit back and be a recluse. Like that's kind of like how I've like always like felt about it. Like there was actually a period of time that when I wiped my it was Kyle Wright 425, which it changed into the Campfire, if anybody doesn't know that. But when I wiped my channel, I actually kind of considered, even on TikTok, removing anything with my face. And, and being a faceless content creator, because it was this kind of like distance I could have with it. Now, obviously, it didn't work out that way. My face has been on the internet for years, so sure. But in the same hand, it was like because even Lee actually asked me at one point where he was like, dude, he's like, have you ever thought about sitting in front of the mic and like doing lighting or whatever and telling your story and like doing something like that? And I said, not really, no. I'm like, I like it just to be my voice. Because it's easy. I don't have to be on camera. I don't have to shave.
Yeah, right.
I don't have to be put together. I can wake up in 20 minutes and have my gravelly morning voice
and go
and do what I need to do, and then take the rest of the day, edit what I need to, and now all my stuff is done and I can move on.
Yeah,
and it's like. So to the question, so it's one of those where like I honestly like that is not something that is that sexy to me. But in the same hand is that you look at it where it's like, well, if reacting moves over to Twitch, if that ever becomes a thing, like Alex Hefner's done that. He got tired of dealing with copyrights. Yeah. He got tired of dealing with all the bullshit. Like he's still like, he also has a dynamite editor that does his movie react. If you ever watch this or whatever, like give that man fucking props, dude. It is so good. Like he'll take Alex's face and like put him on like for Spaceballs when Dark Helmet is walking past all the dudes and they're shaking because they're so scared, and he's like, yeah, that would be me. And then it cuts to that shot again, but he tracked his face and put it on it like for like a little bit of a laugh or whatever. Like so. His movie reaction channel, I think, is like that is just fun for him. It's like he doesn't have to edit. Like the guy that he has doing it is dynamite. He's able to be on Twitch and do what he's doing. So like it's just clearly there is a way to make it happen. But like if we didn't react on YouTube anymore, I would still be like, no, dude, like today is music day. We're gonna sit on Twitch and like
that's
we're
what I
gonna
was
do
asking. Like we're kind of both.
Yeah, but I don't think it would ever be a consistent thing. Of like having it be like, oh, like I'm going to do this for 4 days a week in a row, because it's one of those where like, no, I could be making campfires like stuff right now, and but even then it's like, if they're like, depending on like, how everything goes with Twitch, is that I know that plenty of gamers on Twitch, they take their gameplay and they download the file and then they upload it to YouTube.
See, I got to figure mine out too on like how that, because apparently mine's set up to where like, because nothing's on my channel, because apparently it's set to auto delete. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's a way you can change it, but yeah.
But it's like, I mean, maybe I can do some of that, but the goal is just to like make a quick mill beating Mario and then just retire in Maui. No, I'm just kidding. No.
One time
deal.
Fucking nailed it. Yeah.
But no, I wondered with that, because, with this kind of discussion tonight, or like, maybe even title on, like what rykerroad becomes, or if we stay like this and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I have been wondering that the last like week or so, where it's like, well, what if Twitch is the thing that takes off? And how ironic would it be in the fact of Mom always told me to stop playing my dumbass video games and stop cussing. You're never going to get anywhere in life. Well, here the fuck I am playing video games and cussing.
Yeah, right. So, and I'm making a small living doing it. I'm making
a decent living doing it.
I can get my, what did Julian Smith, or no, when he did Jeffrey, his alter ego, where he's like, well, beggars can't be choosers. So I'm going to take my $20 and I'm going to go to Starbucks and get something small.
So
right. Like, but no, I think that it is compelling. And I think that at least on your end of things, it's something that is like, dude, like you've been able to consistently do it. You're having fun.
Yeah.
It's working. And it's just like, okay, like, there is a big possibility that, that could take the brunt of your time. And it's like the idea of like, no, like this, like, if people are enjoying what you're doing, you can support yourself with what you're doing and you're having fun with it. Why wouldn't you do it?
Sure.
Because there's this almost feels like it's this unattainable thing for the general populace, especially like when you like see, the 13-year-old kid that, watches Markiplier and is like, I want to be a gamer. And it's like, well, no, we are living in a time that very much could become a reality. And it's this weird push and pull where it's kind of like, well, not everybody can do it because then nobody would be special. So it's like that idea of like, what are you bringing to the table to make this happen? Like, I mean, there's a lot of mental gymnastics that have to happen for this to work out. And, so like for what we do is that it's kind of like, okay, like, no, like we know for a fact that we're at least entertaining because people watch us, so it's the idea. So it's the idea of like, okay, like what form does this take? How would it go? Like, I don't have a solid answer as far as the streaming part of Twitch. It's one of those that like, I will probably just be the guest, like popping on and stuff. But there's also something just really cool about like if it's a night I'm playing COD where it's like, no, dude, like I'll jump on and play with you.
I was going to say, I mean, I know you can you can jump in.
Yes. Cause I've actually thought about before, like, again, this would be, the mentality of like, well, dude, like, it's like all you'd have to do is move it. But like being able to take, the PlayStation downstairs or whatever and do something on the setup I have down there or something like, I don't know. Like, it's just, who knows? It's just, to me, it's one of those that like we have a lot of fluff around us right now that we're kind of digging through, like all of it's good. So it's kind of like, okay, like let's peek through here. What's here? Like, is this the way we want to go? Like, that's the one thing that I've taken from Hugo Martin, and I've talked about it on lives before and all that, is that, and it's how you and I work, is that feels good, steer into that. It's like, no, like we may not stay on this road, but it's like, no, let's go check out this backcountry road for a little bit. Let's see what's back here. We'll catch the exit if it doesn't work out. And like that's
agreed.
It's just cool. Like we've been able to, try a lot of shit. Not all of it has worked, and it's in some of the stuff that hasn't worked. I've been like, oh, come on. Like that was awesome, but in the same hand, like knowing that, no, like people, even though not a lot of people show up for it, shut up and eat it is something that people really dig, and being able
growing
to do
again.
That,
It's got to kind of grow over again because we moved it off of a platform that had 100,000 plus subscribers. But I think that there is something about that. That's why I do want to get back into it, definitely for the summer and things. Not only that, but, the what'd you say's, the how many bites, like we do tend to do a lot of kind of like food related things as well, I feel like, but it's fun. Yeah. I think everybody can kind of relate to that. But, I think that, building those like ideas that we had back up, because they got a relatively decent immediate response to them, and that was great. So it's like people do like this. Now bringing it over to the other channel and having a substantially smaller audience, but getting like almost a lot of the same, I don't want to say numbers on views, but like the same interaction and, the views and the likes, where it's like, okay, well, it followed. Yeah. And other people are finding this, or maybe they're subscribed to maybe just this channel or something like that, or finally, found it on here. So like, it is nice to see it be like built all over again. So that has been pretty cool. But yeah, that is definitely something that we are really trying to work on more. And like I said, don't know that it'll necessarily take over the reactions, but it's just the fact of, that other channel being alive and having the things that we've wanted to do on Riker Road. But it was like, yeah, that's great. It really doesn't belong on here anymore.
No, because even like thinking about, like, in my mind, I always try to think practically, because it's the mentality that, it's like, we do shoot for the stars, but then if you can like bring yourself down to like a human level for like the human experience you're currently having, I think that in all reality is that, let's say that, podcast picks up. Let's say that, Scary Stories pick up. Let's say the Detour now has a heartbeat and now it's like, it's become its own thing. Is that I realistically don't think that there would be any less than 5 videos on Ryker Road a week. Because it is so easy to do like that amount. Like 7 is kind of like, weight training, if you will.
Sure.
You're building muscle. It's not that big of a deal. Doing 5 is, I'm going to run a mile today. Okay, whatever. It's that type of thing. So like, because again, like playing with the mentality of that, if I'm ever full time, then it's the idea of that if we literally do 5 videos a week, it's kind of like, okay, we can take weekends off, from uploading, or then again, or it's like, no, do we do weekends mostly, or like,
right,
however it looks. But like, again, there's nothing in the cards. Like, we're still planning on shooting 7, this like tomorrow or through the weekend or whatever. But in the same hand is that it's like, no, like I think realistically, that's probably what it would turn into is that, no, like we're going to relieve the pressure this much, know, and then that way we can focus on it. But I don't know, like, it's pretty wild. Like I just, if you would have looked at 17 subscriber us and said that we were sitting in a podcast room discussing what we're going to do, it would this would be like ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just that
like, hell no.
It's like, no, again, like kind of like what we told Moose Lounge, where it's like, if we would have shown up like Bill and Ted to our past selves and like dropped it in their laps, it's like, man, I don't fucking want this. That's scary. Like, it's like, that's like,
yeah, here, do it.
Yeah. It's like, no, like how do I get from here to there? So, but
walk,
it's like, what do I say to her? Well, hello for starters, so, but no, it's just, it's interesting. And I think that, being able to dream about this stuff is always fun just because like there is so much we don't know. But I guess tonight was kind of more of like a kitchen talk episode. So like
sort of. Yeah.
Which it's always good. Somebody actually said that they were like, yeah, we kind of dig it. So, I mean, if we ever work through stuff, like we could probably be on about a certain subject and then something will come up where it's like, no, kitchen talk, we got to talk about this right now. So, but it is cool to get the feedback from everybody. So, I mean, very much like I'm very curious to see what you guys think about everything. And, again, stress it, as you have said before, whether it's the movie stuff or if it's, focusing on other things or whatever, like, guys, nothing is changing.
Yeah, no.
This is us just kind of living in an alternate reality for a little bit and seeing like what could be.
Make me $1 million on gaming.
Yeah.
I want to say I made $1 million playing fucking Call of Duty. I'm just kidding.
But
really.
I hope so. I'm just kidding. Not really, but yeah. No, but no, it's just, it's something that we talked about it a couple of nights ago, and it was just, or it was last night, I can't remember, but it was just that mentality of, man, like, this is interesting. Like, will we react forever? It's like, is this something that will always be there? Like it's a kind of a hard thought to have, only because, I told you before we got started that I had kind of a interesting night of watching us react.
Oh yeah,
and I think what I did was I recently have been listening to Descending more off of Tomb Sleep Token, and I was like, man, I'm like I know this is super cool right now, but I'm like, did this one hit me right the first time I heard it?
Oh yeah,
because like sometimes like with Sleep Token, I've had to kind of like chew on it for a little while, and then once I'm in it, I'm like, no, this is fucking amazing,
Right, but, because I mean, I edit all of them, so I see it again for the second time. Yeah,
because really the only like Sleep Token one that I would watch consistently was Take Me Back to Eden, because that's just god tier like music of just like watching people react to that song is like crack. It's amazing, and it's the fact that we have a role in that we're a part of it, and it's really odd. But that was so long ago, or it feels like it was so long ago, that I was able to completely check out and just watch a reaction. And it was a very, very interesting perspective to have. And I remember just like, whether it was because I know I did Descending, and then I went back, and then I kind of went to Atlantic and kind of just let them play.
Okay.
And was kind of like having my album experience again, where I'm like, like, what did this album do to me? Because I know that I think in Missing Limbs, I think I said that that this is my favorite Sleep Token album, or whenever I said it, but like it took that longevity of like doing one a week and then finally having that ability, to judge it, bro, it was really odd. Like I laughed. I forgot about certain things that you and I said. And there's this comment that I found that I don't know if you heard me when you were on stream, but dude, I was cackling. It was one of the videos I had my head shaved. And this guy said, huh, interesting. Kyle without hair looks a lot like Kyle with hair, but without hair. Like, just like, dude, there are just sometimes, dude, the comments are fucking fire. And just like, even Chris, you know, he was like, yeah, he's like, you guys don't do one video or multiple videos in one night. What kind of psychopath changes their shirt between every video? And I'm like, well, we fucking do. So it's like, you know, but like, it's stuff like that, dude. Like there was this spark that happened again where like I watched it and it just like, not to get sappy, but like I just looked at it and I'm like, dude, I fucking love what we do.
Yeah.
Like that is, it's something that I lose perspective of so much all the time because it's like, we're the ones that have to make it and work to make it happen.
Sure.
And it's like when we get done, like, guys, I hate to burst your bubble, but it's like when we get done making reactions, we don't sit down and watch them. We go and we talk, we play video games. We do anything but. You know?
I'm about to go smash my 3 potatoes and a fucking salad and then go kill stuff.
Right.
Like I'm not it's you're right. It's not like that. You know, or the fact that we just sit and research all these other reaction pages, you know, day in and day out. Like, no, that's not what we do.
No.
When we're done in here, we're done for the night in a sense. Like I'm choosing to go plug in and be involved with the world because I want to and I enjoy it at night, not because I have to.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a huge difference when it becomes a have to. Difference between have to, like when I had to do some damage control the other day with the blocking, but
yeah.
Having to every once in a while is different. When it becomes not fun, that's when it's a problem and you feel like you have to do it. Like, nah, man, that's when I know that it has run its course. You know, we have nights where we don't want to, but then we sit down, we're like, oh, yeah, this is good.
We always remember why we're there.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, man, like it was really powerful. Like I was up till like 1 a.m. Like I was just like, I was done for the day. Like I had like my time. I was like, okay, I'm like, what do I want to do right now? Cause like my night kind of like shifted from like what I was going to do just because like, you know, like and stuff. Cause I was going to get some scary stories done. And then, you know, mom actually had stopped by and she needed some help with something. So I was like, you know what? I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, I'll work on this another night or whatever. But it kind of like in a weird way freed me up. And I just like I was kind of multitasking. I was listening to, or I'm sorry, I was watching us react, but then I also had my mini board alive with easy keys up, and I was kind of like playing notes along with some sleep token stuff. Like, oh, this is a G, this is a C here. Okay, cool. Like, so I'm like, I'm working, but I'm in leisure. You know, where it's like it's that type of thing. Like, that's kind of what I try to do is that if I'm not working, I try to keep some element there where it's kind of like, oh, like this is just fun right now and I'm being productive. Can
I be completely honest with you on something? And I know this sounds really stupid and shitty and maybe even like what somebody would say or like whatever, but when you said that you're keeping that, like, how did you just word that when you doing that, but you're doing other things?
Oh, I have leisure, but I'm working. Yeah.
Your leisure. Sorry, that was the word.
Yeah.
That's why I smoke and drink on stream. You know, or, you know, same thing like with coffee time and stuff. Because, guys, I have my medical car. We do live in a recreational state, but at the same time, you know, Twitch especially is very lax. I don't have to even cover my beer, like all this stuff. Not for nothing, it almost, I think subconsciously, there's like half of it is the sense of it's leisure time for me. This isn't work. I can sit down, crack a cold one, smoke, do whatever, have my food and just sit like the camera's on. Yeah. I think that is one of the bigger parts in the fact of why I'm always like, well, I got to go get a 6-pack or I'm going to go get this or make sure this is in here. It's like, yeah. It's not, I don't want to say a dependent, but it's like that's what makes it not work for me because I can do whatever I want. Yeah. And, you know, whether it's listen to music or play games, it's just the fact of like I said, I know that sounds silly, but I think it really kind of adjusts my mindset. Yeah. No, I mean, not just because I'm drinking beer. Well, no, like, you know what I mean? But
I think that there's something about it where it's like because I mean, again, there have been certain nights or whatever, like, I mean, like recording How Could You Leave Us or Mama or like, you know, or discovering a song is fucking devastating. Like, you know, it's one of those where it's like, damn, like it kind of doesn't matter what's around me right now. This just hurts. Yeah. You know, so, but in the same hand as that, dude, like the first time we reacted to Hypa, the first time that we reacted to Huracan, like the first time that we reacted to, you know, any of these multitude of things that were just a fucking blast, where it's like, that's the moment that I look at it and I'm like, no, this isn't work. It's like, because even like how John Kosick said it, he was one of the guys I interviewed. I definitely suggest you watch it. He's awesome. But he works in television and he's like, look, dude, there are people out there that are putting out fires. There are people out there that are keeping the peace. There are people out there that are curing cancer. We get to do the fun stuff. Yeah. Right. And, you know, and he's like, that is something that I try to remind myself when I have a bad day is that he's like, nah, dude, he's like, suck it the fuck up and do your job. Dude, that's what I say all the time. Yeah. Right. So I'm like, oh, poor you. You gotta go in there and fucking edit. Yeah. Like, yeah. It's just, it's such an interesting perspective because, you know, no, like I think that anything that you do as a job does take its toll in some way or another, but it's like, I would much rather do this than stock shelves. 100%, man. And deal with all the tech problems, deal with all the copyrights, deal with all the limited ads, deal with like, you know, like depending on if we say something that YouTube doesn't like and now, you know, like our revenue's cut on a video that, you know, or whatever, like it's stuff like that. Like, yeah, it is maddening, but at the end of the day, it's like, no, like what we do is quote unquote simple. Yep. But it's just like, man, like we do get to do the fun stuff. I got to watch watch these reactions and just be an audience member for a little bit. Yeah. It was really weird. And that's funny. It kind of gave me a healthy perspective that, you know, I wouldn't say that I haven't had in a while, but it's one that I have to remind myself of. Sure. You know, like being like, it's weird that like you and I have the ability that we can literally just find the video online of Ronnie Radke reacting to us. Like, it's like, that is, I don't mean this is going to sound terrible, but it's like, that's such old news. Yeah. Right. That it's like, sometimes I gloss over it, but every time that I've watched it, I'm like, oh my God. It's embedded in internet history, dude. Yeah. Like, and it's but that doesn't happen. Yeah. Right. It's just like it's just fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like, we have the ability to really keep like our mental, like, you know, health straight and also like keep our, you know, our endurance, our, you know, our enjoyment of what we do. Like, cause like, that's when I'm upset or whatever, or if I'm not feeling good about content creating or whatever, like that's one of the things I do is that I jump on, I try to find videos I know for a fact were fun, looking at the comments and people being like, oh my God, dude, I freaked out at this part too, or like all that stuff. Yeah. It's like, no, like this is awesome. You know, and it's just, it's such a wild thing that we've been able to attain. Two dudes from Ohio like figured this shit out. And it's like, I don't know how the fuck we did it. I still don't know what the hell we're doing. You know, it's like, I just know I don't either. Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't either. Like, it's fucking what? Like, I'm just here. Yeah, right. I'm just on this couch. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So. It's just, it's wild. But either way, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. This was a little glimpse into things. We've been trying to do more natural conversation stuff. So if you guys have been enjoying this, or if you guys want some specific topics, let us know. Yeah, this is a good one, man. As I always say, whenever we shut off after the podcast, I'm like, that's how you fucking podcast. So, but nevertheless, though, is there anything that you would like to say to the audience before we sign off until next week? I mean, not really, other than the fact of we're going to try other things. And if you want to go over there and watch Twitch, it's rykerroad 83. And yeah, maybe some other things will be coming your way in the future. But other than that, we're here for a while. Yeah. So. Yeah. We've been given something, not much, but we've been given enough, and we're going to do our best with what we've been given, you know? So, but either way, guys, we love you. We will see you next week. Adios.